Today, we're diving deep into a book that might just change your life. It's called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Now, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed, buried under this mountain of to-dos, only to get to the end of the day and feel like you accomplished absolutely nothing that truly matters, then this is for you. This book is the blueprint to reclaiming your time, your energy, and your focus. So let's dive right in.
All right, let's just start with a quick gut check here. Do any of these sound familiar? Have you ever felt stretched way too thin? Or how about this one? Have you ever felt both overworked and somehow underutilized at the exact same time? Do you feel like you're just majoring in minor activities? Like you're always in motion, but you're never actually getting anywhere that feels meaningful? If you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are not alone. This is the classic trap of modern life. And luckily, Greg McKeown has a powerful way out.
This quote, this is pretty much the heart of the entire book, and it's a huge wake-up call, isn't it? Because when we don't deliberately, consciously choose where to focus our energy, other people will happily do it for us. It's our bosses, our colleagues, our clients, heck, even our families. They will fill our schedules with their priorities, not ours. And before we know it, we're just living by default, constantly reacting to everyone else's agenda, and we completely lose sight of what's truly essential to us.
So this feeling, this sense of being constantly pulled in a million different directions, McKeown has a name for it: the way of the non-essentialist. It's that undisciplined, relentless pursuit of more projects, more meetings, more commitments. And you want to know the scary part? It's a trap that the most ambitious, the most talented, and the most successful people fall right into. In fact, their own success is what often leads them straight into it. He calls this the paradox of success, and it basically happens in 4 stages. So here's how it goes. Phase 1, you have a really clear purpose, you're focused, and that leads to success. Great. But then, phase 2, that success makes you the go-to person, right? And suddenly you are flooded with new options and opportunities. Which leads to phase 3. Your efforts get spread thinner and thinner and thinner. And then bam, phase 4 hits. The very clarity that made you successful in the first place is just gone, completely drowned in a sea of non-essential noise. Your success literally becomes the catalyst for your failure. It's a crazy cycle.
So, this really puts us at a crossroads with a fundamental choice to make. We can either keep going down that path of the non-essentialist, just living by default, or we can choose another way, the way of the essentialist. And this is all about living by design, intentionally, deliberately, choosing where and how we invest our precious energy.
And the difference in mindset here is, well, it's night and day. The non-essentialist thinks, I have to do this, feeling like a victim of their own life. But the essentialist, they know, I choose to do this, and they recognize their own power. A non-essentialist is convinced that everything is important and scrambles, asking, how can I possibly fit it all in? The essentialist, on the other hand, understands that only a few things truly matter, and they're willing to ask the tough question, what are the trade-offs? This isn't just some small shift in thinking. It's a complete revolution in how you approach every single day.
Okay, picture your energy for a second. Imagine it's a collection of arrows. For the non-essentialist, those arrows are pointing in every single direction. There's a ton of effort, a ton of busyness, but the result is that deeply unsatisfying feeling of making just a millimeter of progress in a million different directions. You get nowhere fast. It is absolutely exhausting and is totally ineffective. Now let's flip that on its head. The essentialist. All of their energy is channeled into one single powerful arrow. The amount of effort might be the same, but because it's so focused, the result is a massive breakthrough. It's that incredible feeling of actually moving the needle on the projects and goals that really matter, the ones that make the highest contribution. That, right there, is the difference between being busy and being truly productive. This is basically the motto of the essentialist. It comes from the legendary designer Dieter Rams, who believed his whole job was to filter through all the noise to find the absolute essence of a design. Less but better. And this isn't about doing less just for the sake of doing less. No, it's about making the wisest possible investment of your time and your energy so you can operate at your absolute highest point of contribution. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I actually become an essentialist? Well, before we can even begin to change our actions, we have to change our thinking. The entire philosophy is really built on 3 core truths that we have to internalize if we want to break free from that non-essentialist mindset for good. So the first and honestly the most important truth is that we have the power of choice. So often we say things like, oh, I have to do this. The book talks about a concept called learned helplessness. It's this psychological state where you start to believe you have no control, so you just stop trying. But here's the thing, the ability to choose cannot be taken away from you. It can only be forgotten. An essentialist remembers this power and uses it every single day. A choice isn't a thing, it is an action.
The second truth. Now, this one can be a tough pill to swallow, especially for you overachievers out there. Almost everything is just noise. We live in a world that's constantly screaming at us that everything is important, but that's a lie. You've probably heard of the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule? It suggests that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts. Essentialists accept this reality. They don't get distracted by the trivial many, they relentlessly hunt for the vital few.
And the third core truth is that we have to accept the reality of trade-offs. You cannot have it all, and you cannot do it all. The non-essentialist always asks, how can I do both? And that is a surefire recipe for mediocrity. The essentialist asks a tougher, much more strategic question: which problem do I want? McKeown uses Southwest Airlines as this brilliant example. They deliberately chose not to offer meals or assign seats. Why? So they could become the absolute best at being a low-cost airline. They embraced trade-offs as a strategy, and it made them massively successful. So once we've really adopted this new mindset, this mindset based on choice, focus, and trade-offs, how do we actually apply it? Well, the book lays out this beautifully simple, systematic process that we can use for any decision we face, big or small. This is where the philosophy really becomes a practical, daily discipline. The process is a simple, repeatable, three-step cycle. First, you explore. Instead of just jumping at the first good idea that comes along, you really take the time to explore a lot of options so you can identify the truly great one. Second, you eliminate. Now, this is the hard part. It means saying no to some good opportunities so that you have the space to say yes to the great ones. And third, you execute. Once you know what's essential, you build a system around it to make doing it as frictionless and effortless as possible. It's kind of like cleaning out your closet, right? You look at everything, you get rid of what you don't truly love, and then you organize what's left so it's super easy to find. So, the crucial takeaway here is this. Essentialism isn't just another time management hack. It is not about getting more things done. It's about getting the right things done. The ultimate goal isn't just to be more productive at work. It's to create a life of purpose, a life of meaning, and a life of real contribution. The disciplined pursuit of less actually leads to more clarity, more impact, and way more joy in the journey. The book wraps up with this beautiful and kind of haunting question from the poet Mary Oliver. And it just reframes the entire discussion, doesn't it? We're not just talking about organizing our email inbox or our daily calendar. We're talking about how we invest the finite, incredibly precious time we have on this earth. And when you see your choices through that lens, it becomes a whole lot easier to say no to the non-essential. So I want to leave you with this question to really think about. And notice, it doesn't ask what bad thing you should eliminate. That's the easy stuff. It asks what good thing you could cut. A good project at work, a good commitment, even a good habit. What good thing are you willing to trade in order to make room for something that is truly great? That, my friends, is the essence of an essentialist trade-off.
Now look, what we've covered today is really the core philosophy. It's the what and the why of essentialism. But the real power comes from the how. The book itself is a deep dive into very specific practical strategies for each of these steps. How to explore your options effectively, how to eliminate non-essentials gracefully without burning bridges, and how to build systems that make execution almost automatic. It's the ultimate playbook for anyone who's ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and start making their highest contribution.
Thank you so much for watching. If this idea of less but better resonated with you and you want more summaries of life-changing books like this one, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button for our channel, MindSwitch Books. And if you're ready to start your own journey, click the link in the description below to get your copy of Essentialism today. It really is a game changer. Thanks for joining us, and start making those choices.
Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful to you, share it with someone who might benefit from it, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll leave the link to purchase this book below in the description. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.